And we're live.
Hey.
Yo. Sean's gone this week.
Sean is in Ireland.
He is in
of
Ireland.
all places.
He's been posting pictures of pubs and stuff, which is interesting. Sean's not the type to post a lot of pictures of drinking and the inside of bars and stuff, but I mean, I can see why. They're very cool
bars
looking.
there are very social too. That's the thing. Like it's like you go there just to hang. You don't go there just to drink.
They're very cool looking too. Yeah, he's posting a bunch of pictures of stuff, so people should.
I keep looking at his pictures and being like, was I there? I can't tell if I was at this one before.
It's like
these places kind of look familiar.
It's so stereotypical, but it's like, yeah, that looks exactly like I figured it would, because it's just like beautiful green grass, just like fantastic countryside. It's like, yeah, okay, show me something original, Ireland. I've seen this before a million times from you guys.
Give me your greatest hits list.
Yeah. It does look really nice though. And
Ireland's beautiful. So if you ever get a chance to go,
I'm not jealous at all. Not at all. I mean, I'm kind of not. I hate traveling, but like I would love to see it one day still.
Oh, and traveling over there from here kind of blows Chuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure. Yeah, I believe it. I think he's gone next week too, just to get like that housekeeping out of the way. So we're not going to get to hear his opinions on what was he doing again? The AR glasses.
The AR glasses, yeah.
I'm kind of interested to see how that went for him. So that'll be interesting in a couple of weeks from now. So yeah, and next week there might not be a show. We're not sure yet. Schedules are fluctuating, and you have the house guests and all that. So
Emil and Tim are going to be here. Yeah, so we don't know. Sure I can make time to podcast, but we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out just as a heads up to people, I guess. How was your week? Do you do anything fun?
I broke my air conditioner.
Okay, I didn't know if we were going to talk about that just now.
We might as well. Yeah, that's why the podcast started late, because Reese came home and then there was a very, very loud sound coming from the air conditioner and furnace, and yeah, it did not sound good. I somehow damaged it while putting in the air filter, which makes me wonder if something was in the duct and got into the fan.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what caused it. I just know that now whenever we turn on the air conditioning, you can hear something revving up very loudly. Like, you know, like those like little toys you see, like you wind up and they like spark. That's what it sounds like. Like a...
Oh no. It's really bad.
So we're like, we can't chance turning that on right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call someone and hope that they will come as an emergency, because tomorrow's supposed to be pretty warm. The good news is if we can get through tomorrow, the rest of the week is pretty cool by comparison, because it's gonna be rainy. But yeah, we don't want to just leave that. So
yeah, is your house at least cool right now from it being on previously during the day?
I'm in the basement, so I'm not the best person to answer that.
Fair. Yep.
But Reese has opened up the screen door downstairs, and I assume the window's up in the top floor, so I'm going to assume probably
it's pretty hot.
Not.
Yeah. It gets hot quick for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer. What a terrible thing.
Hopefully they can show up tomorrow and fix it, because we've got like some premium service we pay for from a local furnace place, so we're hoping that they'll come right away.
Yeah. Well, best of luck on that. It's definitely going to need to get that checked out, even though it's going to be cool now, because as you know, it gets stupid hot here for a week every year, and then it's the worst. So yeah,
not thrilled about it, but I guess at least if it's going to break at some point, I'm glad that it's right now when it's not in actual summer yet.
For sure. Totally.
That's going to blow if that happens later this year. Oof.
Yes. Yeah, that's no good. Nothing new with me, so let's just move on to the top-down perspective for May 4th. I'm Paul Fleck.
John Wheeler.
And what have you been playing?
Pizza Tower.
Okay, so you did continue or go back to it?
I did continue it, yeah.
Okay.
So I am on the final floor.
Okay. Did you have enough money? Or I guess you're not done yet. So I'm
100%ing every stage. So
you are. Yeah, you'll have enough.
So I've got no worries.
Okay.
I think I already had enough before I even did the stage I'm currently in. But yeah, like
Okay. Cool. Um, any opinions changed on it at all?
those boss fights still suck.
They're terrible. They get better weirdly as you go because they like
They
that
just take
first
less
boss
hits.
is the worst. It's the
The
worst.
the fourth boss, I was just like, oh, that wasn't terrible. And then they the switch up. I'm like, oh, okay,
The fake Pepino.
yeah.
Y-
That fight was interesting because I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing great. I'm not getting hit. Oh God, suddenly I got hit way too much. And then oh God, what has this fight turned into now?
Yeah, I like that fight a lot. It's so weird and creepy. I love fake Pepino. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped playing it when my Steam Deck, yeah, okay, Steam Deck, I was right,
Yeah.
ran out of battery, so I left it to charge and just never went back to it. So I'm in the escape sequence of like one of the three final stages.
Okay. Okay, cool.
It's not the Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff stage. It's not War. It's the other one.
The one with the priest and the exorcisms or whatever. I think,
Oh
right?
right, the actual like fighting ghosts. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. That was my least favorite of that world, maybe. I don't know, like conceptually, even though War sucks. Like, I hate playing War.
Everyone keeps telling me War is the worst.
It
Yeah.
just feels bad. I hate it.
Pizza Pizza Scare. That's the one. That should be the stage I'm in.
Okay. Cool.
Uh, yeah, I got two S ranks. One I had to try for, and then one I somehow got without trying. I actually got it on my first try on a lap one. I didn't have to do a lap two.
Are you going to go back and do S ranks?
God no!
Okay,
God
okay.
no!
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like the game that much.
Yeah, me too.
It's fun to play through, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not going for P ranks, and I got like two S's, and that's good enough for me.
Yep. I'm kind of glad you're playing through it just because I don't know. There's every stage that game does has something kind of new and quirky and interesting. It's too bad that the boss fights break them up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like I can't even say that the Wario Land's bosses are all that great either. So it's at least it's in par with the series it's mimicking.
Yay, I guess. Yeah, that final boss. I mean, you're gonna get there soon. Probably even tonight if you keep playing because that final
I probably
boss
won't tonight because I've been tearing up my office, cleaning up stuff and putting stuff away,
fair.
and that's what led to breaking the air conditioning. So
Fair
so now I
enough.
have to put stuff back so the crew can get in and possibly fix it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You play anything else? And like any stream games or whatever? How's Gotham Knights going for you guys?
Gotham Knights is interesting. It's way better in co-op than single player. I'll say that
Sure.
much.
Yeah.
The way they do progress transfer is a little weird because like it brings you back and it doesn't save your progress, but it recognizes that you got like the achievements for it. So it's like you did this mission on your friend's game. Do you want to skip this stage?
Oh.
It gives you the option to. So if there's a specific like point that you saw the cutscene for someone else and we're like, oh, I want to see that as who I'm playing as, you can like stop there as you're catching back up and then like, okay, this is where I continue my file here now.
Okay. That's
So
interesting.
it's got some neat ideas there,
Yeah.
even if it's a little janky. Um, I had some weird issues with the windowed version. Like I couldn't get it. I couldn't move the window anymore, despite I'd been doing it earlier. And then last night during the stream, my controller stopped reading wirelessly.
Oh.
I had to get a different controller and like plug it in. Like it kept turning off my controller.
Oh.
So I had to plug it in to make it work. So I thought my batteries were dead first.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. Is that a game problem? Like,
I don't know. Someone said
Yeah.
Steam's done that to them before. I just don't know if it was like what triggered it. It could have been Gotham. It could have been something else. I had to leave for a bit and my controller just turned off, like went to
Yeah.
sleep mode, but just wouldn't wake back up.
Yeah.
And playing that game with a keyboard and mouse is weird. So I had to figure out a way to use the controller.
Okay. That.
Story, yeah. The
Sorry, go
storyline's good. Characters are fun to play as, but like it's not as tight controlling as the Arkham games I remember them being. Like I'll glide along as Batgirl and then I'll be like, okay, I need a grapple hook up here. When will my grapple point show up that's in the right spot? When will it show up? No, it's not there. Oh, it moved as soon as I pressed the button, so it went somewhere else. So I'm going completely off rails.
Gotcha.
And it's got a
Yeah.
bunch. It's got a bunch of licensed music in it too. So the playthrough is just like, well, you'll be lucky if this works on YouTube. Good luck.
Mm. Wow.
So, and no streamer mode. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
It's funny though, because like G's the host, I'm not. So all the cutscenes he shows up, it's Red Hood instead of Batgirl. So
Oh,
we kept getting his version of the story,
yeah.
but like his is also one of the more interesting versions. So I'm like, all right, I'm kind of okay with this.
Sure. Yeah. I like Batgirl in that game myself. I'm a Batgirl main. Yeah. Is that right
There
in
you
this
go.
context?
There you go. You're a Batgirl main. That
I'm
works.
Batgirl main. Yeah. So I get it. That game, like I need to find somebody to play more of it with, because I tried going back to it a little bit in single player and I'm like, this blows. And then I stopped.
Yeah, that game seems so uninteresting in single player.
Yeah.
But in co-op, it's actually pretty fun.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool. You play anything else interesting?
What the hell did I even play this week? Give me a second to actually look, because like I did a bunch of sponsor stuff lately. Like a bunch of companies are just like, "Hey, we got a new release coming out." Like it's kind of insane how busy I've been with them. But I'm also so burnt out now. I'm just like, "Oh God, I need a break from these."
Sure. Yeah.
We did This Means Warp, that came out into full release today.
Okay.
That is basically FTL meets Overcooked.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So you control one crewmate on a ship, literally a layout like FTL, like separate rooms. This is like the cannon room. This is the piloting room. This is like the airlock, etc. And you can target specific areas of your opponent's ships. Like it's basically gameplay wise is FTL, like the layout.
Yeah.
But you move around like Overcooked, and it's a cooperative game. You can get up to 4 players to be on your ship to like go through things.
That sounds
And
great.
it was fun in co-op, but it is difficult. Like
Yeah.
we kept getting destroyed in area 2 every time. Apparently the game has a bit of a reputation for being challenging.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. That sounds awesome. I might try to pick that up maybe.
It was fun. And like I said, it just dropped out of early access today, so should have all the stuff that we had on the demo version.
Cool. Neat.
What else have I done recently? We did a Smash tournament.
Okay.
Afterimage, right? That was another one we did since last week. Afterimage was a.
How did you feel about Afterimage? Because I played that demo and I don't know that I was impressed myself.
It's a Metroidvania.
It's one of
nice
those.
looking Metroidvania. But then I looked at like the cheat sheet they gave me said like the game was like 30 hours long. I'm like, whoa.
Right. Yeah. Like it seemed fine. I guess my gripe. That's not even the right word. My thing about it is that I didn't feel any reason why I should be playing this over another Metroidvania, because there's so many of them that I want to get to. It didn't feel like it had a thing that grasped me, that I was like, oh, this thing is awesome.
I mean, that's the thing. There's no real gimmick. It is a bread and butter Metroidvania.
Right.
I like the combat because I like that you had 2 main weapons you could flip back and forth between.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, exploring felt fun. It reminded me a lot of Hollow Knight, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. The boss fight was kind of cool that I did against, like, I don't know, some night lady. Oh, yeah.
You did farther content than I did, because they gave me I had the actual game.
Oh, weird. I wonder if maybe the demo drops you in later or something.
Probably does, because the start is a little slow.
Okay.
And I don't know if you felt this, but like the dialogue's a little janky.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know if it's because it's just a weird English translation, but like it's very stilted at times.
I assumed it was a translation.
Weird translation.
Yeah. I found it fine. I also didn't care about the story, but that's a personal thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't far enough in to really get a good vibe for it. I feel like maybe some more interesting stuff happens later, but like if they're touting like up to 30 hours, I'm like, oof. Well,
yeah, that's big.
Get really good, because that's going to need to carry it.
Yeah. Yep. That's big for sure. Well, that's cool.
On how long to beat. Yeah. Ooh.
It's even more.
Main story 28, main and extra 45, completion is 52.
That's ridiculous.
That game was fun, but I don't know if it's 52 hours fun.
That's crazy. Well, isn't that game like $20 or $30? It's like not a expensive game either. I don't believe. You get your money's worth with that.
$24, $29 physical.
Yeah, like holy crap. that dollar to time ratio is ridiculous if you get super into it.
Yeah. Like it didn't seem bad. I enjoyed it because I like 2D Metroidvanias, but like it's not like I can't tell you like, oh, this is like one I recommend because it has like this cool mechanic. It is literally, if you want a Metroidvania that's gonna take you a bit, this is one.
Yeah, fair.
Like it looked nice too. I liked the graphics. I think that was the main focus.
It does look good. That's true.
Yeah. No, I didn't feel like my time was wasted, and I got paid for it, so I also can't complain. Well, I will get paid soon, I guess is the thing. So.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad, baby.
All right, fair enough. You do anything else?
Pacross, that's about it.
Cool. Oh, the new one?
Yeah, S9's out now.
It's just more, right?
It's just more.
Sick.
That's the branding. Oh, you know what? Shit, I lied. I did a new release night the other day and I actually played a bunch of stuff that came out recently.
Okay.
Magical Drop 6 came out.
I don't think I know these games. Let me quickly
Magical
look it
Drop
up.
6. Magical Drop's an arcade series that was mostly on Neo Geo. It was like a puzzle game where you like grabbed orbs from the top and you like stacked them together and you made chains and combos. It's a puzzle game.
I have seen these before. I've never played them. Okay. Yeah.
Magical Drop 5 got a lot of hate. Apparently it was really bad. This is much better.
Okay.
It's still got some weird modes to it that are just very unbalanced, but the devs seem like they're actually fixing things. The game launched without the ability to play with friends, and they patched that in like a day or two later. They were pretty quick on that. So they are listening to the community and trying to fix things, apparently. So.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. I also played Deathwish Enforcers.
I don't know what this is at all.
This is Limited Run Games is publishing this one.
Oh, okay.
It is literally 60s and 70s action movie Sunset Riders.
Oh, man, that sounds so good. What?
The idea sounds good. They lean a little heavy on like the weird porn jokes and stuff like that, and then at some point they kind of leave the 60s and 70s and go into like the 80s at some point. Like the main villain is literally Christopher Walken from A View to a Kill.
Oh, really?
It's literally him. Like you like we were taking bets when we started the game. Like that looks a lot like Christopher Walken, and someone else thought it looked like the dude who played Bowser in the '90s Mario movie.
Oh, Dennis Hopper.
Like Willem Dafoe. Yeah, someone else thought it looked like Willem Dafoe.
They all kind of look alike, honestly.
And then we got to the final boss, and he's just like, "You wasted all your time for nothing. Goodbye." And we're just like, "Yep, okay, I was right. It's
holy shit."
And even like.
He looks like Christopher Walken.
I know. I fucking know. At some point, you fight a dude that is literally just Arnold on a turret, and he even goes when he dies. So,
okay, what's the butt here? This sounds great.
Yeah, it's
okay.
I did not have the best time with it. Like, so I love Sunset Riders. I love that game a lot.
True.
This somehow is like way more aggressive than Sunset Riders is. Like now, like I don't know how else to describe it. Like literally I was just dying left and right nonstop because enemies are just like super fast. They're in like weird hard to hit spots, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now they balance it out in two ways. One, if you have local friends, you can do 4-player co-op.
Right.
And two, you can basically set however many lives and continues you want. Like you could start with 9 lives, 9 continues. They give you an option to restart from the last stage if you run out of continues. It's pretty easy to beat in that aspect, but it does feel like a bit of a grind compared to say like Sunset Riders.
Gotcha.
But like if you like that kind of game and really like weird 60s, 70s, and 80s schlock, like it's pretty good for that. Like the playable characters are parodies of like Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry character. The dude from Deathwish, Charles Bronson, or whatever his name is.
Yep.
Like parody version of him. And then there's like a parody version of like a James Bond girl and a parody version of like a blaxploitation girl, like Foxy Cleopatra.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
So yeah, like, and they all play like here's the ones with 2 guns. Here's the one with a big gun. Here's the one with a shotgun that spreads. Here's the one with like a low spread shotgun.
Okay.
So, like I had 2 I preferred, and I played as them for the most of the game. But yeah, like it was just like a fun schlocky thing. It just felt like a weird grind, and I think the price is like $30. That might be Canadian.
Yeah, I was looking at the price. It seems steep to me personally for what I'm looking at.
It is a steep price for it. If you really, really like Sunset Rider style games, yeah, give it a try. It's great.
Yeah.
But like, just be prepared for it to not invoke the same feeling. Like it's gonna feel a bit off because of it,
Yeah.
which is a bummer. But like, I still had some fun.
Was
And
it
like I said,
solo?
the parodies and just references. Yeah, I had to do solo
Yeah.
because local only.
Man, I wish this was on Steam, because then like you could do the co-op thing or
Yeah.
whatever.
At
Yeah.
some point, it probably will, but limited run's doing it, so I don't know. That's
Right.
the thing with limited run, like, or even all those companies, like, because was it where Devolver did that thing with Devil Throttle,
Yep.
where like it was physical only and like limited physical for a while, and then eventually they were like, yeah, now you can just get it whenever you want.
Yeah.
And it
Man.
was 23 USD when I checked the eShop on the US. Oh yeah, I think it was like 10% off or something like that at the start. I don't know, but yeah, like if you
Okay.
like Sunset Rise, it's all right, and if you like 60s references or like cheesy action movies,
It still looks pretty good. I just wish it was online multiplayer or something.
yeah, that would have been a big thing for it. I don't know if they're gonna like do anything with it. That's the thing, because
Right.
it's otherwise just an arcade game. So it's just, do you like arcade games? We will get the arcade game experience.
Right.
I beat the game and they unlocked like another difficulty. There's like 4 difficulties in the game total, and then it gave me also the option to set myself to have 99 continues. So
Okay.
yeah, that's basically all I did.
Cool. There's a game that came out, I think, last week or whatever, on Game Pass and other things, called Cassette Beasts, and I just want to give the PSA
Yes.
that if you're a fan of Pokemon games, like specifically the GBA, like releases or whatever, you need to check this game out.
I have been hearing amazing things about Cassette Beasts.
It's phenomenal. It is so good. So the basic premise is you wash up on this weird land or whatever, and there's monsters around, because of course there are. And you turn into them by recording them on tapes, essentially. So you're capturing them on like cassette tapes that for your Walkman or whatever, and those tapes are what you turn yourself into by listening to that tape. You turn into like the Pokemon, essentially, the beasts. And it's really a cool new twist on it, and the music and just everything about it is absolutely phenomenal. It is a sleeper hit, I think, for people that like Pokemon type games. It is a Pokemon type game at the end of the day, though, so if that's not your jam, like, you can ignore it, because that's what you're doing. There's some cool stuff in there, though. You're usually with a partner as like your second, or at least what I've played so far, as like a second person that is with you. And what this game does is fusing. You can like gain like a fusion meter or something, and the two of you will like fuse into like a super version of a beast or whatever, which is the two that they currently are fused together. And you get like both of their health stack on top of each other, all of their stats stack together, and like all of their moves become available. So I don't know, man. That game is just super cool. It's so much style, and it's one of those. Sean would love this game, I think. This is 100% a Sean game. It has kind of the cozy coffee talk vibes. It has like some of the weird like Undertale. Something's not right here. One of the first things you do is meet an archangel, which is just like apparently a super powerful beast that lives in these lands that could just like kill anything or whatever. But this one is messed up looking, like something fucked it up, and you're just kind of like finishing it off, and you make a deal with it that it's going to help you get home by finding like pieces of it or whatever. There's something weird going on here, but it's also cutesy. The music's phenomenal, and it's like new Pokemon type thing. It's so good. People need to check this thing out.
Sounds really interesting, honestly.
It's very, very good. And like, I'm not a huge Pokemon guy, so like I'm kind of playing it in spite of like not the mechanics are fine, but like that's not a thing that would keep my interest solo. It's everything else on top of it that's like keeping me going in it. It's cool. What's not so cool is Redfall came out, and that thing's a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. I have not been hearing good stuff about that. What the fuck happened here?
So it runs poorly sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm playing it on PC. I'm sure people that are playing it on other stuff, maybe it doesn't necessarily, but I am getting the standard micro stutter, and companies don't know how to make PC ports anymore. I'm actually considering just like getting a PS5 and just put like any AAA game I'm just going to buy on PS5 from now on or something, because nobody knows how to make a PC port.
Honestly, like that's kind of why I stick with consoles. It's just like,
yeah,
it's meant to be more stable on that. It shouldn't be, but it somehow is.
Absolutely infuriating. So let's put all that aside, because frankly, no company right now can do PC ports anymore. So let's ignore the technical stuff. That world is boring. You're walking around just like doing random shit and random missions for people. None of it feels engaging. The shooting feels bad. I don't know. Like, it's kind of fun when you're with some buddies, because, you know, you're with some buddies doing stuff, and that's kind of fun. There's decent mechanics around that, where as you are helping each other do stuff and complete missions and stuff like that, you're gaining trust with each other or whatever. You're strengthening your relationship or your bond. So like you get increases to your XP gain and damage and stuff when you're near each other, that sort of thing. Like, there's cool mechanics in there, but it's just super lifeless, and it's too bad because, you know, Arcane does some really good stuff, and I was not expecting this to be so boring is the thing.
Yeah, like I heard something about progress also doesn't transfer.
It's based on whoever starts the game. Yeah, so it's not somebody has to host a game, first of all. It's not just drop in, drop out of a world. You have to start the game with multiplayer in mind from the beginning, and like kind of have a lobby system. Like, it feels old that way too, where I was playing a game and my buddies couldn't just drop in on me and now they're in my world. I had to back out of my single player game to host a lobby, wait for them to join, for everybody to ready up, and then now we're in my world where they won't get the quest progression, but they will keep like the levels and the guns and stuff that they get from there. It's weird. Like, it feels like I'm playing an old game with people.
Like, they've done good stuff. It's weird.
They have. I'm wondering if them trying to do too much of like, well, it's multiplayer and open world focus, but also there's story beats in there. Like, I'm wondering if it was just too much and they couldn't focus on making one thing good. And so instead they made like 3 things poorly or whatever, or serviceably at the best. Because Arcane, like, they do good stuff, but maybe it's just they can't do a good story because they can't direct your pacing because it's kind of open-ish. So like the story stuff is going to sometimes hit and sometimes not. And they can't do the multiplayer stuff like really great because there's also story stuff in there. I don't know. It's a mess. It doesn't feel like it knows what it wants to be, and what it ends up being is boring and kind of bad. So it's a disappointment. There's no better way to say it. It's not a bad game in a lot of ways. It's just disappointing. And that sucks. That's even worse in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arcane here now, and specifically Arcane Austin was the studio that did Redfall, and their previous game was Prey.
And Prey was phenomenal.
Yeah. The last 3 games that Arcane put out prior were done by Arcane Lion, Lyon. So that was Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, Wolfenstein, well, I guess the Wolfenstein, Youngblood, and Cyberpilot games, and Deathloop.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're both fine studios, and they both could... like, I'm also kind of wondering if maybe this should have taken another huge delay, and they just weren't allowed it, because parts of it feel unfinished in a lot of ways, too. Like, the technical aspects aside, the shooting doesn't feel great for some guns, but some guns, it's also okay. Like, the shotguns and anything where you're kind of in melee range feel fine, but anything where you're aiming just feels terribly. There's no... You can't change the sensitivity of, like, your mouse aiming down sights. So, like, your mouse sensitivity is, like, one thing normally, but then when you aim down sights, usually if you play a lot of shooting games on PC, you kind of want to change that to be, like, a little bit different or whatever, because you're tightening up your field of view. And it's just set to this weird like console default feel where it's very slow and shitty. Like just little things like that it doesn't feel like they completed like building the game properly in some ways.
Lineback in the chat says, I believe development focus changed a lot mid-development.
It feels that way.
If that's the case, then that explains it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that feels likely, for sure. I don't know. It's too bad because I wanted more.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be going to slip into like some early access style situation to kind of justify it and like maybe fix it? Or do you think it's just kind of done and doomed?
I don't know what you could fix that's like realistic with the problems I have with that game currently. You could add like more, you could tighten up optimization, which would be great. You could tighten up a lot of things, but that world is still kind of empty and lifeless in a way that isn't fun. The AI for the enemies is terrible. They are the stupidest AI I've seen in a long time. Yeah. I don't, it just feels like a rush job.
For reference sake, right now, Redfall is sitting at 59 on Metacritic for Xbox.
I think that's being generous.
For PC. Yeah, 57 on PC, 59 on Xbox, and that's with like PC has 36 reviews, Xbox has 49.
Maybe that's not generous. I mean, it's a game that you can play with friends and like do some missions in and just like looter shooter it up. So it's a serviceable thing.
But there's so many of those already.
And they're all better. What a bummer. The best thing about Redfall is that it's on Game Pass. I feel so bad. The Steam reviews for this were horrible, and I was thinking like, okay, like I know Steam reviews are usually kind of shitty sometimes, just straight up.
Yeah, they get bombed. Yeah.
But then I remembered this is like $70 or $80 Canadian on there. So I get the anger from them. That is a full price game for people on Steam. Which, man, what a bummer.
Gross.
Yeah. The other stuff I've been doing is I've been trying to get into the Armored Core games. I played the first one back when it came out, and I remember not playing much of it back then. Those games are very hard to control in 2023.
PS1 ones? Yeah, I can imagine.
There was something about the first one that was intriguing, and it's like, yeah, I can see good ideas here. It just feels old and kind of crappy that way. 2 is terrible. Armored Core 2 is one of the worst fucking games on the PS2 I think I've ever played.
I was gonna say, I thought that was a PS2 one, because that was a jump from PS1 to PS2.
That it controls the same way, but it also has this crazy amount of stagger where anytime you get shot by anything in that game, you just like can't move for a second, so you just die all the time. It sucks. Fuck that game. Armored Core 3 is fantastic though. That game so far.
They figured it out at that point.
Yeah, they won me over. So I'm gonna play more of those. I'm super excited to play more of those games. Do you have any?
I've played 4. I played number 4 on stream. That's fun. I liked it a lot. I haven't played 5. I don't think I even tracked down a copy of 5 till somewhat recently.
5 is the multiplayer focused one that everybody hates apparently. I haven't played it.
That
either.
would be why I couldn't find it. Yeah, because I was thinking of they did one. From Software did a multiplayer one as well on like Xbox and PS3 that you can't even play anymore. And what the heck is it called?
Yeah, so it's weird because Armored Core 4 and that era is locked.
Chromehounds.
Yeah, Chromehounds, that's true, yeah. Armored Core is locked to, like, the Xbox 4 anyways, and you can't buy it in any new store. It's only on the 360 store.
Interesting.
Getting a copy of Armored Core 4 has led me to sites that I'm not going to talk about on a public forum. But
I mean, you probably could have just gotten a video game chair. They probably had it for like $20. I don't think it's that rare.
No, for sure. But this was last night at 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah, that would do it. Yeah. No, just break in. They won't care. Sale's a sale.
A sale's a sale. I'm excited to play that one because that's apparently the one where they finally use a dual joystick, like a normal shooter. game.
Oh yeah, that would be yeah.
That's
That's why it was
exciting.
the first one I played that kind of clicked for me. Yeah, that
Yeah.
all makes sense now.
I guess, like, to clarify for anybody who doesn't know why the old games are so hard to crack, it's because your D-pad only for movement, and the left and right are turning, because to strafe you have to use L1 and R1, and to aim up and down you have to use L2 and R2. And
Oh, I didn't remember that part.
And you have to do this all usually while flying around by holding X down. So you are literally doing this terrible, like, using
Claw grip.
this weird claw grip where you're using one thumb to, like, push up and down to, like, move back and forward, and then the other hand is holding down X while also holding down, like, L1 or R1 to, like, move. And if you're aiming up or down, you're using your how many games do you know where you use all 4 fingers on the shoulder buttons around the same time to just move around? It's terrible. It's so bad. But I also kind of get that, like, fans of the series, like, there's 3 games on the PS1. There's 2, and then a follow-up to 2, and then 3 had, like, 3 and then, like, 5 other games on the PS2 after that. And they all use the same control scheme because that's what the fans grew up with. So, like, why would they change it? And I get that. But for me in 2023 trying to play it, it's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, still, Armored Core 3 is great. And people should play that game, maybe, if you can find it.
You can find it.
If you can find it. I have nothing else to say about that. So let's move on to news. There's no news. Let's move on to questions.
That was good news. Good news.
Just enough to let the theme song play. But questions. If you have a question, you can write in at topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. And I have a question here from Kevin saying, what's the most recent game you feel nostalgic about? Recent game. I got some nostalgia from Pizza Tower because that feels like an old game.
Yeah, I was gonna say Advance Wars gave me nostalgia.
Oh,
but
sure.
That's because it's a remake of a game from my childhood. So.
Yeah. Most recent game you feel nostalgia. This is a weirdly hard question.
I almost feel nostalgic for Breath of the Wild now. So, like, that's Tears of the Kingdom's hitting at, like, a right point. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah.
That was a while ago now.
That was 6 years ago.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else currently.
All right, iHive says, Peppino Spaghetti opened a restaurant nearby. The 3 of you head over for lunch, then realize that everything on the menu has at least 2 things you've never tried. Could be 2 pizza toppings, could be the dessert is both deep fried and served with a condiment you've never used for dessert. Confused but adventurous, you all order a pizza each, at least one other dish and a drink. But you order for each other, not for yourselves. What would you order for your friends?
I don't know what my friends haven't tried, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that because I'm not that adventurous on my food, and as a result, I kind of don't. I'm like, yeah, you would love this. I don't do that to other people, so I don't think I could do that.
Man, I've tried a lot of dumb shit too. So, like, I don't even know what I haven't really tried as a topping for pizza or whatever. Or I guess 2 things that I've never tried on the menu.
Yeah, I would just tell you right now, there's very few things. If I went to a pizza place and they're like, oh, here, try this on a pizza, I'd be like, no, I'm good. There's very few things I'd be cool with that.
Are you a pineapple guy on pizza? I don't remember.
No, the only pineapple I like is pineapple juice, and then when it's like mixed in with stuff.
I also hate pineapple on pizza, but it's not because of taste like everybody seems to think it is. It's because I don't like the texture of warmed up pineapple. I mean,
also that. I think it's a mix of taste and texture for me because like I said, I like pineapple juice when it's mixed with other things. It's
sure.
Just a pineapple piece. Nope, no bueno.
I mean, what's like a thing that you've never tried that you would be willing to?
That's the thing. I would need to like
Yeah.
see or hear some examples, and because like if
'Cause
I'm going to a pizza place, my idea is like, oh, I'm gonna get like my usual like meat pizza.
I know you don't like seafood stuff, like at all.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Salmon is the only seafood I like. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's because you've actually had to eat it where you've lived like a bunch and didn't like it. Not because you haven't.
Sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, no, it's not because you haven't tried it. That I know.
I mean, there's some fish I haven't tried, but like, yeah.
Listen, I love fish. I love seafood. Can we be completely honest and just say basically every fish is the fucking same? Like, come on. I know they're actually not, but they are.
I was gonna say, like, tuna versus salmon, I will definitely pick one over the other.
Oh, salmon is so good.
Yeah.
I'll put salmon on everything, though. That's not even fair. That salmon's like chocolate.
Oh, God. I don't know if I go that far.
Chocolate salmon.
I bet you that exists. I can't imagine the flavor profile is the best, but...
I've had candied salmon before, and I don't think it would go well with chocolate at all.
Swordfish is great, Ricky says.
I tried some swordfish in Seattle once, and it was okay. It was a little overpriced for what I felt it was. I'm trying not to think of like something gross too, where it's like, would you try Rocky Mountain oysters?
Like something I would actually try.
Like, no, I'm not gonna eat balls. Like, I get that.
Would Pepino put balls on pizza?
Pepino would put balls on everything.
Oh,
Let's be real.
Fucking Pepino. This is why your store was going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Stop putting balls on pizza.
It's true. What's the most exotic, like, meat type thing you've tried?
Alligator.
Okay. Have you tried, like, bear or snake? Like, would you try one of those?
No. Maybe?
I've heard it all tastes like chicken.
I mean, that's what they said about alligator, and they were right about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't... They haven't said bear tastes like chicken. That's not true.
I was gonna say bear probably tastes more like moose.
Yeah.
Like a very, like, salty kind of taste.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, there's very few foods I can think of that I haven't tried, so I, like, knock yourself out finding one, I guess.
So what you're saying is we're all miserable at Pepino's place, which sounds par for the course, really, for going to Pepino's place.
Pepino's miserable at Pepino's place. I wonder if... I am interested on what, like, something Sean never tried is. Because I know it's going to be something
most
weird.
Adventurous.
He does, but he also seems like the type that's like, yeah, I've never actually tried, like, a meatball sub. For some... Like, he's the type of guy that, like, just like, what do you mean you haven't tried mac and cheese or something like that? I could see it. I just don't know what the thing is.
The most obvious thing you could think of.
He's one of those people for sure. Just like Suku, who writes, have you ever borrowed a game from a friend and just never gave it back due to circumstances? Have you ever lent a game out and never saw it again?
Both. I've done both. My copy of
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for NES was a friend's. He moved away before I could give it back to him. And my buddy, I loaned him Battle Network 1 in university, and he lost it. So.
All right, listen. Matt, I'm calling you out. You tried to steal my Resident Evil 2 back in when we were 13, and I still fucking hate you for it. Peter, you still have my goddamn Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on PlayStation. I had to buy another copy, you sack of crap. Ugh.
I didn't name
worst.
names. I'm surprised you did.
That's all I think about. Every week, I go down the list of people that have wronged me. That's not true, but...
I picked a bad time to take a drink.
Yeah, but both of those people are true, and they have... So somebody took my Twisted Metal 2? I think 2 back then. I stopped lending games out to people, basically, because every time I did, I just never saw it again. People are jerks.
Yeah, I was usually the guy that like loaned out games a lot in like high school because there were like 4 or 5 of us that had like we just had a bunch of games and we just handed them back and forth all the time.
Yeah. Sounds
So
like
like
you had
we
good
were like we
friends.
all trusted each other basically. Yeah.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Sorry. I mean, like I said, I lost some stuff too and ended up with someone else's. So
Yeah,
and I
I
think
think
the game I ended up with actually is kind of expensive now.
I definitely have
Uh,
one or two things that are from someone else, but I don't remember what they were.
Yeah, see, Tournament Fighters for NES. Oh yeah, the cart itself is like $300 now. So yeah, like replacing that's gonna be a bitch.
Oh man.
If he wants it back, I'll give it to him, but he hasn't messaged me in years, so I doubt it. Uh, Rasterman7 says, "What's a residence in a video game that you would consider living in if given the option, while taking into account its perks and drawbacks as well as the rules of that world? In other words, you have to consider the costs of living, groceries, chores, maintenance, its benefits, a nice view, tranquility, nearby facilities, and the fact that by living there you would have as much power as any other NPC. For example, if you chose a house in the world of Pokemon, that wouldn't actually kill you, or they wouldn't actually kill you in mere seconds." And there's a bonus question there as well. What would be the last place you would choose as an answer for the previous question, as long as the place itself wouldn't kill you, but you wish it could?
Oh man.
All right. So, place you want to move into, taking into account the actual perks and drawbacks of the rules of that world. I was gonna say like Zack Island from Dead or Alive because like that's a nice like beach paradise to live in, but then like every 2 weeks that it gets exploded or like sinks into the ocean, so maybe not.
Yeah, I play a lot of horror.
That might be the no.
I don't want to live any of those places. It's really bad.
I would say The Sims, but like you kind of get trapped in your pool on a regular basis, so I don't know if that's really a good option.
Yeah. Is there a good world to live in games?
There probably is. Like Animal Crossing.
I think it would drive me nuts living with those people on an island or something.
Speak English.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, none of that. English.
Man.
Pokemon World's not a bad idea, but it's got a lot of criminal organizations trying to take over the world, so I don't know if I would really enjoy that much.
They're always thwarted by a 10-year-old, though. So
I guess. So they're not very good, is what we're saying.
No, they're not. Okay. I can think of 1,000 places I don't want to live. So let's go to that part of the question. Rapture. Because, man.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. That's an easy one. Really, any place that happens in BioShock or any of the shocks.
Anywhere Batman resides. Those places are terrible. Like Mario World. I don't know. I don't want enemies everywhere.
Yeah, I can't think of anywhere I would want to live, and it's way easier to think of places you wouldn't want to, because a lot of games, usually the location is, bad conflict is having. So, like, I can only think of things like Animal Crossing, Tomodachi Life, like those kind of like nice sim games. What's the farming games? Like Harvest Moon and Star Valley or whatever.
Oh, what about like Final Fantasy or something? If you're an NPC,
it would depend on the Final Fantasy, yeah.
Yeah. If you're just an NPC living in like one of those worlds, that's kind of cool. There's cool creatures and there's magic and stuff. Like that's kind of neat.
It would depend on the world, because like I wouldn't want to live in Six's world, because like the fucking planet gets destroyed. So I'm just like, nope, don't want that.
Yeah, Seven's world is pretty bad too in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
8 might be a dream, depending on what theory you look up on the internet. 14 probably.
Well, 14 would be good.
14's pretty good, I think.
14 would probably be the answer for the Final Fantasy question.
Yeah, I think so too. VGC Kenny writes, "You've been kidnapped. The person doing this will let you go, provided you do as they say. They give you the option to A, stream yourself playing Mario Party for 50 hours, or B,
in a row?
Stream yourself playing Mario Kart for 200 hours. Okay, not in a row, I'm guessing.
It doesn't have to be continuous is the next sentence. There we go.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't have to be continuous, but obviously the sooner you do it, the sooner you're free. You can choose whatever game you want from each series. You can't mix and match between the two of them. What do you stream?"
So this is clearly a question aimed at Sean, because he's the one who doesn't like Mario Party.
And
Because
loves
I'm
Mario
gonna
Kart.
take the 50 hours versus 200, and I already stream Mario Party, so like this is literally like, oh, I just have to go to work for 50 hours. Okay.
But I guess the catch is that you're not playing with people at all. Because right?
Oh, it
Theoretically.
doesn't specify that.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
true.
specify that at all.
I mean, that's clearly the easy answer, right?
Yeah. It's just Mario Party for 50 hours versus Mario Kart for 200. It's like
like
4 times the amount of time.
like my brother in Christ, I spend 50 hours a week doing something I hate like every week. What do you mean?
This is my job. What the fuck are you making me do this for?
200 hours is insane. That is a crazy
200
number.
hours is wild, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like
I'm at 200 hours of Mario Kart would get exhausting. Obviously, it's not in a row, but like to get yourself freed, you'd have to play 200 hours of like I assume the multiplayer online, and that would just be like,
God.
I'd be like, oh, I'm so sick of this game.
The plus side is that I bet 50 of the 200 hours is just waiting in lobbies and errors and networking.
Is that a plus? Just that literally having to waste 50 hours?
I don't know.
At least with like Mario Party, like a game is maybe 2 hours, so that just means it's 25 games of Mario Party, which is still a lot.
Yeah.
But like it's not that bad in comparison.
It's not. Especially when you consider Mario Kart, even though there's different levels and stuff like that, it's the same thing. At least Mario Party has different mini games that like break it up a little bit. Like, I think this is such an easy answer personally.
Which is why Sean would definitely say Mario Kart.
Yes. Yeah, we're just gonna answer for him.
Phantom Aegis says, Ahoy TDP crew, what are some of your favorite shower thoughts that you've had? The definition for shower thoughts is a sudden idea that occurs to a person during an unconnected, mundane activity. Example taken online, if my calculator had a history, it would be more embarrassing than my browser history.
Okay, that was pretty good. Wow.
A bunch of my alert ideas that I've come up with that are just super nonsensical are literally shower thoughts. So like the 5 is a shower thought. The Hulk Hogan touching a stove and saying it's not hot, it's a shower thought. Or I get a version of that. And what was another one? Oh, the cow. Yeah, the cow one instead of cowabunga. That one's also a shower thought. So yeah, most of my shower thoughts are work related.
I mean, dumb memes. TikTok has broken my brain. So like every now and then there's just like something that pops up all the time, song wise or sound wise or whatever, that I hear a lot. And then I just think of like some stupid game thing that would like fit in there. And sometimes I actually like edit that real quick to see what it would look like. Because you never know. But it's just dumb memes. My brain is so fucking broken.
The internet's poisoned us all, dude.
It's the worst, yeah. Hebrew Lantern writes, what villain would actually make the world a better place if they won and took over? The easy answer is Doctor Doom. I mean, he's literally trying to do that. And he does that, like, in multiple times. Okay, so not besides Doctor Doom.
Thanos, technically? His whole, okay, let's say movie Thanos for the argument's sake, because I know like the comic Thanos is different.
Yeah, he just wants to bang
Thanos
death.
is just like, I don't want anyone to go hungry. I don't want anyone to run out of resources. So just if you remove half the population from the universe, suddenly those are no longer an issue. And that's why a bunch of like plot points in the Marvel movies like, oh yeah, we like that.
Basically all of the beginning bad guys or villains from Metal Gear games, aka Big Boss, really. Because he saw the corruption of like the Patriots and all that sort of thing and was trying to fight against them and like all of that. Solidus. That's why they're good villains, and that's why those villains become main characters in some games that you play.
No, I think Doctor Doom was probably the best answer.
Doctor Doom is definitely the best answer, I think.
Dad writes in and says, if every document which refers to your gender changed to be the opposite of your birth sex, would you leave it as is? What? If every document which refers to your gender changed to be the opposite of your birth sex, would you leave it as? So every document, like my license and stuff, says girl,
Uh,
female instead of male.
I wouldn't, because I have a job where that would set up red flags, and I would be in like questioned all the time. So no, it would make my life harder.
Crossing the border would be weird, but
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't care otherwise. Basically, I'd be like, "Oh, my name's spelled wrong on my birth certificate as it is. Might as well just fucking go whole hog at this point."
Fair enough. Yeah. Also, like, no, because I don't want it to be. Like, is that wrong? I don't want to be thought of as a girl, so like, yeah, I would change it if I could, I guess.
I'm too far gone. I literally don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Fuck it. I'm a girl. Woo.
Yeah, fair. Lineback writes, how do you give honest critique to people when they ask you for it without coming across as harsh? Don't be an asshole about it.
Use tact. It sounds simple, but it literally is that. It's like, just don't be like, all right, I know, can I critique this for you? I like what you're doing, but I think like this might need some work. I feel like I've seen better versions, like other people can do this, and this might be a good thing to bring to that. Like,
Yeah.
use a soft tone, use a soft touch, like try to show the positive still in a good light and show where they can improve versus saying like this is bad, you should feel bad.
It's so stupid,
yeah.
but like, listen, it's a thing for a reason. You use the compliment sandwich. You say, listen, I love what you're doing with this. This is really cool. I think what you could do is maybe fix this up a bit, but otherwise, like, compliment sandwiches are a thing for a reason. That's what you actually do. And don't be a dick. Like, if someone's asking you for a critique, they want it. So, but like, they don't want you to be like, oh yeah, I mean, you could just like get better at art. You could stop sucking. Like, just don't be a dick, man.
Like I said, tact. You just use tact.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, was that mine? Oh, oops. Shane the Destroyer says, kinda handily beat my nieces and nephews in Mario Party and felt a bit bad about it. Are you able to hold back when playing multiplayer games with children? Any tips? I mean, I have to a little because of my nephews, but I also know my nephews will never shut up if they beat me. So I have to be like, all right, you can beat me here, but like if you start getting a big head, I'm sorry, full power. So yeah, I can hold back, but you got to choose very carefully. Because some kids will never let you live it down.
I really love this. I really love this. Like, I kind of like kicked the shit out of my cousin's thing. It's like, first of all, humble brag, but
Humble brag, beat them to pieces.
But Christopher Walken in Pool Hall Junkies says it best about sometimes like the line needs to just like, you know, remind everybody who he is. Sometimes you need to just like show the kids that like, I'll let you win every now and then, but if you cross me, it's over.
Yeah, it's like here's the basic logic of it is like if you keep kicking their ass over and over, they're either not going to want to play with you anymore or they're not going to want to play, period. So it's a balance thing. Like, don't let them walk over you and don't walk over them all the time, but like let it be a nice back and forth. So yeah, hold back a little.
I mean, I'm going to take this out of this weird realm of kids. Even if you're playing with your buddies, if you play a lot of fighting games or whatever and you're good at them, you're going to have to let them win a few times. Like, suck it up. Don't be a dick, because otherwise they're not going to play and you're now playing solo. Like, that's just life. You got to, if you want to play with people, you got to meet them somewhat on their level if you're like way above them. Otherwise, it's not fun for you either. Like, I don't know. That's not fun. Always winning. Right? Guys, I mean, I wouldn't know. Hayes AC, final question, writes, now that Advance Wars is out, I want to ask, what's an airport? Following question, what are other weird quotes you can remember and would you like to quote over and over? What is a man is the one.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Oh no. I know there are ones I quote all the time, but what the hell are they? Now that I've been asked on the spot, I can't think of it.
I know, right? It's funny because like what today's Thursday. When you stream next Saturday, right? Saturday you'll probably like rattle off like 5 during your whole stream. Is like that's the answer.
I mean, I'll just randomly go like wow, like Waluigi or Wario style. So I guess the like little phonetic sounds like that, sure.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess you could say Ninja Turtles rotted my brain for like Cowabunga and Booyakasha and stuff like that.
Yeah, Booyakasha, yeah. Simpsons quotes sometimes still come out.
Yeah. Simpsons quotes are the actual thing. Because I can't think of games, but like I will quote The Simpsons nonstop.
It's weird how there was a collective like unconscious where everyone around our age just like knows quotes from that stupid show and everybody not our age don't.
Apparently it's like a Canadian thing too. Apparently it's mainly Canadians that just quote The Simpsons nonstop.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say one of my quotes I like to quote with Reese a lot, and it's not a Simpsons quote, is the Family Guy.
Okay.
Like the boat thing. Like, you know how much we wanted a boat?
Yeah.
But the box. It could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we wanted one of those?
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. Yeah.
That one we quote a lot. Me fail English, that's impossible. Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
I'm Nintendo Chalmers. Still makes me laugh every time.
I bet my Wookiee. This is just Ralph. It's just Ralph Wiggum quotes, apparently.
Super Nintendo Chalmers.
I'm trying to think. There's one from like my favorite episode's the Hank Scorpio one.
Yeah.
And there's just nonsense about the hammocks. It's like, oh, you mean the hammock district? I didn't even give you my coat.
Man, that episode is one of the greatest episodes in TV. I love that episode so much.
Stop him. He's supposed to die.
Yeah, that whole part is so good.
The Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the answer for sure.
Yeah.
The Simpsons stuff.
This is absolutely the quote. Just The Simpsons, period.
I'm guessing What's an Airport is a quote from that game, from Advance Wars.
As from Advance Wars, yeah. Andy is supposed to be like a leader of like a CO, commanding officer for an army, and he literally doesn't know what an airport is.
Okay.
So like that's literally one of the lines Andy says like, what's an airport? And Nell's like, oh my God, you are a small child. Why are we letting you run this army? Here you go. This is what an airport is.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty good. All right. Again, if anybody wants to write in for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel if you're part of that, and John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
I guess Pizza Tower.
I gotta give it to Cassette Beasts. Phenomenal game. All right. No other news, so thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
How do I get out of here?